While these rules may not maximize overall happiness, they will at least guarantee net happiness never decreases. Question relevance. How is this related to conclusion? This premise explains the effects of a moral-based system relative to the core of my philosophy, happiness as an end. Good is happiness. I've forgotten how to do this.
Nonsense!
Hold on, no. Based on your own principles, wouldn't this method be immoral? Would it?
Nonsense!
Inferior maybe, but not immoral. Inferior. As long as the rules created still increase happiness overall, I believe this is reconcilable with my ideals. Some gain is better than no gain after all. While these rules may not maximize overall happiness, they will at least guarantee that net happiness never decreases. Actions can be considered moral when they follow such rules. Ask for clarification, what do you mean by this? I believe this is clear. If you follow the rules, you'll be acting morally. Principal backing. Can you back up this statement? Based on everything I've established here, following the rules will promote happiness most of the time. Thus, we can assume that those who follow the rules are performing morally most of the time. Even in the case that the rules create unhappiness, we should follow them. Well, no. Theoretically, if in a certain situation following a rule created enough unhappiness, that rule should be revamped. See, okay, now we're getting to the point. Because every rule has exceptions, now he's saying if the exceptions happen, then we should, revise the rules to accommodate for that exception. Broken and replaced with a more nuanced rule. How interesting. Rule nuances added to the idea slate. Alright, so now I think we challenge him with rule nuances. Nope. See, that's the problem with this game. Like, you know what you're supposed to say, you just don't know when to say it. These rules should be chosen in order to create the most happiness possible with as little harm as possible. Universal rules challenge rule nuances? Alright, come on. Come on. Should be chosen to create more happiness with as little harm as possible. Challenge nuances.
Nonsense!
Why there? Why there though? Why not any other places? Anyway, the game's up on the chap. Oh no, Dad, you don't dare throw this away. I dare. Ari, I know you idolize this man, but it's time to accept that these ideas are not my way out of here. For the philosophy he just proposed boils down to the same one as before. Now, hold on. Is it? John Stuart Mill, you said that rules should be created along lines which furthers happiness, is that correct? Of course. And that when the rules fail to further happiness, they should be replaced with more nuanced rules. Yes, indeed. What's the problem? It's very different from his original idea. No. Is that so? Then answer me this. If you keep making the rules more and more nuanced, where will you wind up? You will wind up with the idea that we should act in order to promote happiness. What? The fact is, no matter what rules Mills comes up with, they will always be several steps removed from his original idea, and thus they are imperfect promotions of happiness. We'll have to keep replacing the rules to get closer to the original idea until we wind up back where we started. I'm not entirely sure I follow this, and even if I do, I'm not entirely sure. Actually, is it a problem? I mean, what we're trying to find again? We're trying to find the source of morality, aren't we? And what he's saying is happiness is the source. No, I'm pretty sure I had a better argument. Because now we've drifted. The argument has drifted towards how do you create rules that promote happiness, assuming that happiness equates to morality. But now we've drifted towards why rules don't work. But that's not even the point of the argument. The point of the argument is whether or not happiness equates to morality, which it doesn't, because happiness is problematic, as I explained earlier. Excellent deduction, Socrates. I don't know about this. Indeed, most insightful. ... No matter how you spin it, root utilitarianism ultimately boils down to act utilitarianism. Well, that's true, because the rule part is basically devising the rules, and devising the rules is you use act utilitarianism to devise the rules of rule utilitarianism. So it's basically the same thing. How do you decide which rules are the rules? By following the same principles before, that happiness, that you want to maximize happiness. But is that the problem though? Because the problem with act utilitarianism is that there are certain things that increase average happiness, but decreases happiness for some individuals so dramatically that they seem obviously immoral. See, we're not really questioning the nature of morality here. We're questioning whether or not happiness is, making rules based on happiness works. It's a different thing we're proposing. We're drifting. We're not actually still answering the earlier question. And thus all the problems we originally established are still there. Are they? You didn't address the problems though. The problem is using happiness as a measure of morality. You didn't actually address that. Well, you addressed some of it. No, I think we're missing a few steps here in the game. Our happiness is just waiting for a giant monster to come out and gobble it up. No. Wait, this is not right. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Feel free to leave comments if I'm wrong, if you can figure it out. ... No ... No ... Exclamation. Explosions. Ari, you are the monster, Dad, the real monster. Don't you see what you're doing? This could have been your only hope of getting back. Our only hope of getting back. Nobody's wrong. Ari, you're useless, Dad. I've wasted my life to give you this chance. Yo, calm down. We're having a lot of fun here. ... What did you just say? ... What do you mean just now, Ari? I put my own life on the line so you could take the challenge. Are you serious? I thought that if there was a chance, any chance, we should take it. But Mill is one of the best philosophers out there, and you've run right over him without a thought. You're going to wind up throwing away both our lives for the sake of your stupid style points. I've got no style points. Mills is incorrect. Happiness is not a reliable measure of morality, even though Socrates didn't actually say that. ... Ariadne Jones? Question mark. I understand where you're coming from, but your father has not done ill by your sacrifice. Not since my days in Parliament have I been subjected to such a spirited critique. ... Mill ... Listen, both of you. Unquestionably, it is possible to do without happiness. It is done involuntarily by 19/20ths of mankind. Wait a minute, what? But you don't have to be among them. It's done involuntarily by 19/20ths of mankind. What was he talking about? ... Ari ... Why didn't you discuss this with me? Would you have taken the challenge if I had? No. ... Then I couldn't just let you die. If I had, the loss of happiness would have been too great. But the hour had told me the challenge was the only way to bring you back. ... But the reward could only match what was at stake, so I... What were you thinking, Ari? You should have gone home. You'd have done the same thing ever with me, yes? Yes, and you're my father, and believe it or not, I don't want to lose you. I did this because I honestly thought you deserved the chance, and I've been helping you however I could. But you're not even taking it seriously. Yes, I am. How could you say that? Drama! You face philosophers with so many different ideas, so many different outlooks. Any one of them could have been onto something, but you have torn them apart without a thought. Your cunning remarks, your biting comments. You don't really care about getting home, you're just showing off. I'm playing video games, what are you talking about? Dot. Look, Ari, it's true that maybe I've been getting a little carried away. I've never been good at this stuff, and you've always loved it, I guess. I'm just starting to see why. Huh, interesting that they're putting this in here. I mean, again, this is not... They're not saying this stuff just for the hell of it. I mean, one, they're giving you a bit of a break from the philosophy at this point. So they're throwing in some drama here. Two, they're discussing the motivations for discussing philosophy. And you don't just do it because of, you don't do it just to show off. You're doing it to pursue the truth. Anyway, you don't want to say that right now. But it doesn't matter, does it? In the end, you still blaze through the options presented to you, tearing them apart because you're so sure they were wrong. No, Ari, it's actually the opposite. I feel like I don't know anything, and I can't accept the ideas without understanding them inside and out. Especially now I know that I'm not the only one at stake. I'm not here to prove them wrong, I'm here to see if they're right. So they're telling you this to tell you the correct mindset to approach philosophy. It's not to, tear people down or to show off, but to find the truth is the point of philosophy. So that's what I'm trying to say here. I'm sorry. Huh? Bill was right. You've really been working hard. It's okay, Ari, I understand. And so, here, and also, people can be wrong. Like, Ari was wrong about Mill. Mill's ideas were useful, but ultimately not exactly right. And so, even, and here, Ari, they presented Ari as this kind of likable character. And then they now make it here so that she's kind of opposing you, not because of philosophy, but because of her own feelings. And so she's being unphilosophic about this. So they're presenting you with a situation that no matter how much you might like a person, they might still be wrong, and you still have to pursue the truth. So, there's a message here that they're trying to tell you, and obviously it's not a neutral message. They have a certain agenda, right? They have a certain thing they want to accomplish. They want to kind of get people to think like a philosopher. So this story is, what I'm saying is, this story is not just a waste of time. They're trying to communicate certain ideas to you. They're trying to convince you to do a certain thing. Really? Yeah, that's a difference sometimes. You shouldn't have done something like that, but I'll ground you for it when we make it home. And promise me you'll never take up gambling. Okay, you're smart, but you don't have a knack for playing the odds. I guess not. Arbiter, I'm tired of this stupid world. Bring out your best philosopher. It's high time I provided returns on my daughter's bet. Alright. So that's the end of that chapter. They're doing some... I don't know... Okay, I guess... on the one hand, they're presenting you with these philosophies, and they're telling you to question everything, and then to, not accept everything at face value. At the same time, they're weaving into the narrative these... what would you call them? They're putting morals into the story. And if you pay attention, you'll notice them. They're telling you that you should think a certain way. And on the one hand, I agree with the way that they think you should think. But on the other hand, it seems a little devious. Because they're telling it to you through the characters, but they're not asking you to be critical about that too. So if you're not being critical, you just accept that these characters are right in the way they deal with each other, in the way that they pursue truth, for example. I agree with it, but I want you to agree after having considered it critically. Is questioning everything the right thing to do? I want you to ask at that question. But this game doesn't tell you to ask that question. It simply shows you that asking questions about everything is the right thing to do. So it's being uncritical about its own message. It's being critical about all the philosophers that it's describing and presenting to you. It's not asking you to be critical about its own message, which I'm not sure about. But anyway, I'm here, and I'm telling you to be critical about the story that they're telling. Not just the philosophies that they're presenting to you, but the philosophy that the game itself is embodying, or is the assumptions that are built into the story. Does that make sense? Maybe that's a bit too much. Anyway, I'm just going to take a break here. When we come back, chapter 5.